This is S4. Sit back, relax, and keep your eyes to the skies.
Greetings, folks, and welcome back to S4, where we talk about the serious issues involving paranormal and current events, coming to you live from the S4 headquarters in the heart of the Cascade Mountains of Washington State. Also, art contest. That's all it says on this paper. Sorry, we're at hour 12, and yeah, we're all a little wired. So, for this show, we're talking about the paranormal and the military with Don Davidson, and Eric Cooper, and Barry Gaunt, and me, and the Flat Earther.
Hey.
So, why don't we start with Dawn? You said you had a paranormal experience while you were in the military?
That was Ramadi. That was Ramadi. Mm-hmm.
Hold on. There we go.
When I went inside, like I wasn't supposed to be there. And so I had gone up to guard tower one night, and coming back down, I had my Surefire flashlight on the ground where I can see where I was going. And out to the corner of my eye, I saw a full-fledged shadow figure just dart out of the middle of nowhere and kind of come at me. I actually almost raised my weapon to it because I thought it may have been someone that wasn't supposed to be there. And they decided, whatever it was, the shadow figure decided to charge at me, and I felt this gust of air come at me. And it was cold, which was not normal for the middle of summer. So, yeah, that was my long story. I guess it was a little shorter than I thought.
No worries. So, were you ever into the paranormal prior to your military service?
Oh yeah, no. Before, when I was growing up, my family used to watch Ghost Hunters all the time. We would have. I guess this is also military as well. My dad was stationed in Keesler Air Force Base and down in Biloxi, Mississippi. And our house was haunted by another shadow figure that I would see on occasion. And I remember distinctly looking at the shadow figure and calling out Don, because one of our friends was named Don, and he was a really tall man, and he was like 6 foot tall. And then this was right where his head was at. But I actually woke up with my parents saying Don was in the house, and my parents just didn't understand what I was talking about. And then my parents had told me a story when they were stationed in the Air Force Academy in Colorado of seeing a shadow move along the wall of the house that they were stationed at, and it skipped a room, and then it kind of went into the seam of the door to my sister's room. So a lot of haunted bases out there. not even just in the middle of Iraq, but also in the middle of the actual housing units themselves. So I guess I had a little more to say than I thought. That's pretty cool. Thanks for that question.
So,
Do you think that's because of the loss of life that was over there, and they're coming back into the old housing? What do you think is causing that?
I would say that would be a good reason for Ramadi. I think in Ramadi there was a lot of death and destruction on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So going into that guard tower, I was probably going into an old insurgents hangout, so to speak, and probably wasn't welcome there because of who I represented. And those on the military housing, probably just people. It's an unfortunate side effect of the military, suicides, or people just really loved the military and they really wanted to stick around and just kind of make sure that it's ran properly. Maybe I'm just speculating here. But.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta understand too, most of the military bases go back to like World War II, World War I. Most of them do, not all of them.
do any of them go back farther than that?
I'd have to research it. I've never researched that. But I know, like Fort Lewis, for example, was established World War I, World War II. A lot of Vietnam veterans actually did basic training at Fort Lewis.
I know that Fort Flagler was built in 1907.
Right.
And part of Fort Flagler is still used as a military.
I'm just wondering if any of them are like from Civil War era type thing.
I don't.
I would have to say mostly East Coast for that.
Right.
There is Warren Air Force Base, is the oldest current continuously active military installation within the Air Force, established in 1867 by the U.S. Army as Fort David Allen Russell, and it's from 1867 till now.
So 1860, that would be, isn't that Civil War?
No, that's right after the Civil War.
Right after?
Right after,
okay.
Yeah. And so that aside, you've already got the age aspect. I'd imagine a lot of the deceased soldiers may or may not go back to that point. They may go home. As you know, some spirits go home. They don't go back to the base per se. But then, like in the case of Fort Lewis, again, a lot of injured soldiers from Vietnam were at Old Madigan, and I'm sure a lot of them died, in Old Madigan. So you've got that aspect. Then you've got more current times. You've got, you got to figure if we're losing 22 veterans a day to suicide and 2 active duty to suicide a day. You've got that aspect. You've got, a lot. When I lived on, I'm trying to think, on Madrona, when I lived on base in Fort Lewis, there was a murder right around the corner where a soldier killed his wife. And that's not isolated. I mean, that happens, I hate to say, but occasionally. So when you have a violent murder like that, you're going to have a haunting. When I moved into base housing, that house around the corner was taped off. That murder happened like 1 to 2 years prior. They left it taped off. They didn't even bother to clean that mess up. The investigation was done. They just, I don't know if it was the haunting factor. I don't know if it was just the nature of the crime as to why they didn't repair the house and no one knows. But they left it roped off. Finally, in 2009, 2010, they had started to fix it up. And that was 3 years after the fact. So when you're talking hauntings on base, Yeah, there's a lot of factors involved. Not even counting what that land was used for before the military base was built. If it was reservation land, if it was,
a cemetery of some kind.
Right.
Or
So do you guys feel that your military training helps you with experiences such as this?
I think our exposure to death, maybe. I think that even a soldier that's coming out of basic training, you're gonna you're forced to realize your own mortality. So in realizing your own mortality, I think you have a connection of sorts with the other side. I don't know if Eric agrees to that or not, but
oh, absolutely. And going beyond that, so I wrote the questions. I'm trying to remember what question. We're down a soldier. That's why I'm here answering too. So yes, military training helps you with paranormal issues. It helps you. I mean, I'm sorry. When you've been through combat, there's not much paranormal that's going to scare you anyway. Seriously. We've got people in the paranormal who are terrified of the thought of even meeting Bigfoot. And I'm sitting here going, seriously? I'd get the man a coffee. I mean,
yeah, hell yeah.
Right? And when it comes to spirits, no, I've seen apparitions. I've had a knife thrown across the kitchen. And it was very. The knife thrown across the kitchen happened in 2001-2 in Dettelbach, Germany. And yes, that was freaky. Hands down, a knife flew across the kitchen, and it wasn't a human that did it. But things like that, and like you said, Don, yeah, seeing dead bodies all over the place in combat, hands down, yeah, it prepares you for death. Am I terrified of death? No. What I am terrified of is the fact of leaving my children behind. That's the part that I don't like. The actual art of dying? No. I'm not scared of death.
So did either of you ever tell any of your commanders about the experiences you had?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I did.
That's a one-way ticket to Walter Reed.
Nope. So there was a point. Yes, I did, and he was a piece of shit anyway. So that was actually the only time I ever did that was in the 6.6 Cav, the Apache unit. Well, when you're talking to pilots, yes, pilots hands down, they do see things. This particular commander was no. He just thought he thought I was a nut job for being pagan, let alone being into UFOs. And that was even before I really fully came out talking about being pagan. So that particular commander, yeah, and that was also when I had seen my first two UFO sightings in Germany. Was the same unit actually.
So when
was it a multiple sighting or was it just your sighting?
No, it's just my sighting, and actually that's where. So I wasn't. I'm trying to remember. No. I had to have been an E5 to take a soldier to prison. That wasn't Cav. So that one. I hate having dates screwed up. So that one was actually in Kitzingen, and I took a soldier to prison in Mannheim, and we were coming back. That don't sound right either. Anyway, at that point, yeah, we were coming back, and I see a bright orange orb hovering over the town. I'm sitting here, it's like midnight. So I'm sitting here thinking, wow, that's a weird moon, but oh no, the moon's over here on my right. So what the hell's that? And I pointed it out to the driver, and the driver's going, whoa, that's weird. Huh.
Yeah.
But he seemed different. He really did. He didn't seem excited and like, oh wow, it's a UFO. He's just like, whatever. And I watched it for about 5 minutes, and then it just disappeared, like you turn a light out.
Mhm.
It didn't shoot up. It didn't move. It was just out.
It was just gone.
Yeah. And so what's interesting about this, in Nuremberg was about 45 minutes away. And you remember the Nuremberg, the Battle of Nuremberg, where all the orbs and spaceships were in combat, basically. So yeah, same area. And so that was my first sighting. My second sighting was about a year later, same town. And that was where I shone a flashlight at this blinking star that was about, when you're looking at stars, it was the same elevation. It looked like a star. And it shot down to about airline elevation.
Wow.
And it hovered there, like, hi, I'm here. And that was listening to Preston Dennett's story earlier, where, the craft seemed like it came down to him. Yeah, that's exactly how it felt when I did it. Was that was my first CE5 and my only CE5 I've ever had. Where it
did you experience telekinesis with it?
No, nothing, no communication, nothing, whatever, other than the fact that shining a flashlight at it, blinking a flashlight at it, made it shoot down. And then it hovered there about airline level, and then it shot back up into its original spot.
So, I remember my great uncle talking about when gremlins, like gremlins in the Army and gremlins in the Navy, and how they could affect electronics on certain planes and different things like that. Have you guys ever had any issue with that?
We didn't call them gremlins.
No?
We just call them shitty electronics.
Yeah.
The era of gremlins pretty much ended with Vietnam.
Did it?
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying to think what movie it was where the gremlin was on the airplane wing.
After that, it was pretty much just Microsoft's fault.
Oh, that was a
That was a creep show, wasn't it?
Twilight Zone, wasn't it? Wasn't that a Twilight Zone?
I think it was a Twilight
It was
Zone.
Twilight.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It was, what's his name? Kirk.
William
Captain Kirk.
Shatner.
Yeah.
William Shatner played it in the original. Yeah.
So,
Great one. That's a classic.
it is. And it's redone by everyone. Like, everyone parodies that one.
So do you think
Because
that was more just like their version of electronic failure, but they didn't call it that then? Or do you think that it actually was some kind of creature?
It's possible it was both.
Guys, have you seen a plane from World War I? There was no electronics.
Yeah.
It was mechanical failure, but the thing is, the problems that they had, they weren't things that should have happened.
Right.
Like they weren't.
And that's why they blame them on
failures that-
gremlins.
Yeah.
It's easy
Like,
to blame on gremlins.
It should have never happened, though.
Right.
It wasn't something that could go wrong.
Oh, that's like the damn. That's like Christine.
Yeah, but
My
like
head.
a bolt shouldn't. A bolt should not shear in the air.
No.
That
No. It was,
Right.
Yeah.
especially not one on the inside of the plane.
Right.
There's nothing to make that happen.
That's gremlins with sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I got to go back and ask Eric another question about this orange orb because The orange orbs are always interesting because the people who experience are seeing an orange orb and knowing your take on the religion and being pagan. A lot of people, when they see the orange orbs, they talk about euphoria. Almost like it's a super religious experience. What kind of experience did you have? Did you have any feelings like that?
I wouldn't call it euphoria. Excited, yeah. Excited, and it wasn't a spiritual thing. It was a, you gotta understand that. So this would have been, like I said earlier, it's weird that I was into the abduction field in '94, but never seen a UFO until, 90, probably about 97.
Wow.
And so I was like, finally, there's my first UFO.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not not a spiritual thing, not euphoria, no, just finally a UFO.
Yeah.
And what was weird about that one, it wasn't, I want to clarify because most people think orb, they think a little tiny ball of light. This thing was as big as the full moon.
Right.
But the full moon was on one side. This thing was as big as the full moon, but it was orange. It was hovering over the town. So it was weird on that regard, because it was a very massive craft.
Yeah. Did it seem like it was, could you tell that it was a solid craft, or did it seem like it was more of an intelligent craft and not solid?
I would have to say solid. Because it wasn't like a fiery ball. It wasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? There was no wave to it, if you know what I mean. It looked like but it looked like the moon.
Right.
But orange. But there was no fireball aspect to it. There was no heat wave aspect to it. Nothing like that.
Okay.
Interesting.
The military has so many experiences and with paranormal, and that takes it into some of the great cases that are out there in the military. Just lay it on the line really heavy, because here in the States, like I think the first one we had was the Fort Polk incident, where unusual circumstance, it's about time. I think it was written by Ben Davis. But, he goes to that whole scenario was like the military in Fort Polk found something that was alien, and then the aliens contacted some of the service people there, and asked them to steal it from the military and hide it, because it was a weapon that they did not want out there.
That's what it's supposed to have.
Right, exactly. And I think they get caught in the whole situation. I think there's some very interesting thing, but the piece of alien technology was recovered and then sent to Fort Benning in Georgia.
Yeah, Fort
and then
Benning.
after that happens, that's when you have the fantastic Fort Benning UFO sighting, where it affected thousands of soldiers on military maneuvers. Where people were screaming and everything else. So did you guys hear, as you were out, you were probably both stationed in the U.S. and overseas, but did you ever have any You ever hear any weird talk about a group of soldiers being out and having a mass experience like that with a UFO?
Personally, no. Doing the research, yeah, I've heard of the cases in Vietnam where mass soldiers saw UFOs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Was that in Vietnam or was it in Cambodia? Because I know we weren't actually supposed to be over there, but that was supposed to be like the paranormal playhouse for a lot of things. And that's where John, gosh, I can't think of his name. 12 hours of this stuff and I can't get the name out.
It was Vietnam. And again, so much paranormal seems attracted to combat zones, all the time, like we've talked before.
Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that, and it's amazing how the military is still able to cover that kind of stuff up.
Oh yeah, and that's easy. You don't want things to get out, you threaten the soldiers. Mm-hmm. That's easy. And those soldiers, they'll talk to each other. They'll go to the bar and talk to each other. They'll go to each other's houses and talk to each other. But that story won't get out.
Really?
Not to anybody else. I've said that before. When you're talking about other, some of these folks that, oh yeah, I had the Air Force guys came and told me about. No, they didn't. You're full of shit. Because if they have classified information, they ain't gonna go talking to you, a random guy that investigates paranormal. It don't work that way. They're gonna go talk to their Air Force buddies, or their Army buddies, or their Marine buddies.
The people with clearance.
Absolutely. They're not going to tell their wife. Huh.
Yeah.
You're answering all the questions you out here.
Oh, I'm not intentionally. I'm answering the ones Barry's asking. He don't have that paper. and trust me, there's...
He snuck into my webcam.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
That's exactly what it is.
But no, absolutely. All they have to do, Barry, is when I first joined the Army in 1989. I went to MEPS. MEPS is where you pick your job that you want. MEPS is where you take your ASFAB, your intelligence test for the military, and MEPS is where you raise your right hand and you swear in, basically.
Swear in. Right, yeah.
And, I did all that. And they tell me, oh, congratulations, you're in the Army now. I'm like, huh? What?
Right.
I had no clue. I wasn't locked in. I could have left at any damn point in time. But they tell you, well, you're going to go to prison if you don't follow through. No, no, you won't. No, you won't. At that point in time, you are still a civilian. You can still get out of. There is no solid contract, and even when you get to basic training, you still have a 6-month window.
Yeah, I was about to say, even in basic training, I know some people that got out then.
Absolutely. But even at MEPS. You are not locked in to go to basic training.
But even in basic training, you can actually get out?
Oh, no. No. Well, yeah, but they'll make it hell. They will keep you that full 6 months, and you'll be doing details and all kinds of stupid shit because, no, you just wasted their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just wasted a lot of money already. So they're gonna
get out of basic.
Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But basically, all they got to do is just screw up everything, and then you're out.
Yeah. And that is a general discharge failure to adapt, is all that is. It doesn't screw you up. Yep, it doesn't screw you up. A lot of people don't understand that. And you know, so in basic training, I had, this is back in, well, no, still 89. So, I was stupid. And so in 89, we fly into Fort Jackson. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. They had us sitting there doing paperwork and crap till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then we get to go lay down. We're like, cool. No, 6 o'clock in the morning, they're banging garbage cans. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And so I'm a civilian. Screw this. And I pissed them off. So the first thing you do, you go do some more paperwork, you have breakfast, and they're in your face. This is 89. They're still able to hit you. They're still able to grab you by the throat. They didn't change all that nicety crap until about 91, 92. I think that's about what it was.
So they just bared down on you until then.
They weren't, so technically, so I didn't start basic until 90. Because in 89, again, you know, that first day, they told me to drop. And we're supposed to do our PT test. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to do 13 push-ups. That's all you had to do was 13 simple push-ups. To make sure that you're able to go to basic. As long as you can do 13, guaranteed you're going to be able to do about 60 by the time you get down to basic. So I get down, you know, and I pissed this woman off. And she's sitting there going, one. Like, what the? And I stopped, because I probably wasn't going down all the way the first couple. But I pissed her off when I stopped, and I looked at her and said, what in the fucking hell? I'm going all the way down. She goes, excuse me, private? Oh my God, no.
Oh, gosh.
And then it was just one. Yeah, okay, I might as well just get up. So I failed this PT test. And not really, because I did 13 push-ups, but she didn't count any of them.
That was Eric's first paranormal experience. The ghosts of his forefathers stood over him, being like, "Done. He fucked up now."
Yeah.
I didn't get to go to basic until January of 90 because they sent me to a fitness company.
Oh.
What's that?
Remedial PT.
Oh, God, yeah, it's nothing but PT. So we're doing wall push-ups. Have you ever done a wall push-up?
Yes.
No.
Oh, yeah, they're great fun. Yeah, try it sometime.
No, don't. They're
I think
horrible.
I'm
They
doing one
hurt.
now, actually.
Have you ever done a wall push-up, Don?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
What the hell's a wall push-up?
You're leaning against the wall, right? Like this. Both arms are on the wall, and you're going, ugh. And oh yeah, it seems simple, but try that for an hour.
Ooh, yeah.
And then you're going to do sit-ups after that. And then you're going to...
On the wall?
I don't think we ran. Huh?
On the wall?
Yeah.
That's just bending over.
No.
Unless you're going to sit up the other way.
No sit-ups.
That would suck.
So, here's the deal. So this is November, okay? And... Well, no, it's actually probably December because it's November 28th that I actually got to Jackson. So it's close to December. And they tell us, oh, well, it's Christmas Exodus coming up, so we've stopped doing basic training until January. I'm like, are you freaking serious? I'm stuck in this shithole for another month? So they say, okay, who's ready for a PT test? I'm like, yeah, I suppose. And I passed it. So now I'm stuck there doing details.
Oh.
Buffing floors and yeah.
With the toothbrush.
No, we had a buffer. and that's what's crazy. We had a guy try to commit suicide. So he tied the buffer cord to around his neck, and he threw the buffer out the 2-story window. Well, it broke the buffer. He didn't move because it just went, bonk.
Just snapped the cord.
It just broke the buffer because you're only 2 stories up, and it's a 50-foot cord. Yeah.
Friend.
So he got in a lot of trouble. So yeah.
He should have got that could not adapt thing, because would you really want to be next to him in
Oh,
combat?
absolutely not. I wouldn't want to be next to him. Most of these guys didn't go to basic. Most of these guys were unfit for duty. Honestly. I mean, I had one of the privates come down and hand me $100 and a bunch of stuff and said, "I'm giving all my stuff away." I'm like, "Yeah, you're committing suicide. Okay. Hey, no, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna be on suicide watch for yeah." But they caught him, and we had guys that tried to go AWOL. They went out and got in a taxi cab, and the taxi driver drove around the block and brought her back. And yeah. So how was your basic, Don?
I had one site unit training over at Fort Knox, and it was basically filled with. I mean, I can't say it was fun, but it was certainly probably the easiest time I had in the military. It's easy.
He didn't have to go to Ramito because he wasn't a smart ass.
I still don't know when to shut my mouth sometimes, but yeah.
Luckily, when I joined the military, I was already in junior ROTC in high school, so I had already known all the facing movements, basically the push-ups and everything, and I could pass an Army PT test when going into the basic training. So it was, I would argue that my Army JROTC in high school was much harder than my basic training was, because we had a Vietnam and Desert Storm veteran as our Army instructor, and yeah, he was very much attention to detail and getting the uniform right. So I was never really in trouble for anything like that. Like, I knew how to polish my boots, I knew how to make sure my clothes were ironed and everything else like that. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. I didn't get any of that shit. I went in as a PV nothing. I got my mosquito wings at 6 months. And then I stayed at PFC for 1.5 years because my paperwork didn't catch up to me. So
because of being taking the PT instead of going to
that might actually be part of it. So when I had 2 different social security numbers that were following me around. And so that paperwork never caught up to me as far as my time in service went. So I was over the time of service to get my specialist rank. So when I was in the CAV, the other soldiers were pissed off because all of a sudden what they thought I had less time of service than they did, and I'm the one getting promoted. Until they realized. And that was funny too, because when I got to Stuttgart, so my paranormal experiences for my entire life pretty much didn't start until 1990. And you kind of brought that up with the military has a lot of paranormal experiences. Why is that? Maybe the nature of our job. And the combat side, the going to foreign country side, and the history of a base side. But prior to 1990, I really didn't have a whole lot of paranormal experience.
When did you become a pagan?
I was studying in 89, 90.
Okay.
Right after PT.
Absolutely.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because, you started with the pagan religion at the same time you joined.
No.
No?
I didn't actually come out and call myself pagan until about 1995.
Because I can't remember your deity's name.
Morgan.
Morgan.
Don knows.
The experience in the barrack, was that the first time you had an experience with where you had the shrine in the little room in there, and when you took it out?
Oh, no. That was 2000. Yeah, that was like 2004.
Was that your first experience with that deity? That heavy of an experience?
Technically, no.
Okay.
Because Morgan came to me in a meditation in 2003. Before we got deployed. She came, and so I always had a hard time meditating. Native American drum music is the only thing that allows me to get to that state. And that's what I was using when she came in meditation and said, "You're going to Iraq. I'm your deity. I'm your goddess. And you've got nothing to worry about."
Okay.
So, January of 2004, we get to Iraq. We get to Kuwait. We had to go through, what was desert trading for you guys, Don? Was it like 3 weeks in Kuwait before you roll into Iraq?
That sounds about right. 2 to 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So you had a couple days of acclimatization, basically, where you're just getting used to the heat. For me, getting off the damn airplane in Kuwait was like, oh my God, I'm back. Seriously? Because I was there in 91. And now I'm back in Doha, Kuwait in 2003. Like, I never thought I'd ever see this freaking country again. And so, yeah, we acclimatized for about 2 to 3 days. And then you've got the desert training. You've got basically shoot and walk. You've got drive-by shooting training. You've got you got to wait for your equipment to get there, and that takes a while. And then we find out, and I've said this on the show before again, but then we find out the intel that they're running piano wire across the highway. We've got to modify our vehicles because none of our shit is up armored. Nothing got up armored until 2005. And that's when they actually brought civilian companies in to take our trucks and modify them. The stupid part, they modified all these Humvees with an extra, 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of steel, but they didn't modify the engines. So as maintenance, we've got alternators breaking, we've got power steering brackets breaking, we've got, they didn't modify anything. They just added
because of all the extra weight.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, yeah.
So you got suspension system issues, you've got engine issues. They didn't modify a damn thing. They wasted more money than it was worth. But getting there in January of 2004, we're finding out that, they are dropping grenades and IEDs off overpasses. They are running piano wire across the highway to cut the gunner's head off, because we do have turrets and we do have gunners sticking up. It's going to get their head cut off.
And they do stay there for the whole trip, eh?
Huh?
The gunner stays up there for the whole trip.
Oh yeah, they're watching for attacks. They've got IEDs and pop cans, garbage bags, dead animals, cars, and it got worse as the time went on. The IEDs got bigger and bigger, and you've got little guys sitting on top of a hilltop with a video camera. So when they blow up our convoy, they're videoing it and putting it on Al Jazeera TV network. Back then they were. Al Jazeera is a good news source now. But back then, they were using Al Jazeera for jihadist recruitment, really. Which is also why we couldn't have cell phones at that point. Because a cell phone is a frequency that sets off an IED. So, knowing all this, we modified our trucks. We welded, being the maintenance section, we welded steel poles to all of our brush guards. You're talking 200 trucks. So that was a lot of time. They didn't give us anything to modify our trucks with. We had to scrap and find. So we had plywood. We had rubber mats. We had sandbags. So you line the floorboard of the truck with sandbags to hopefully deter any blast that comes up. We put plywood up as if that's going to stop a bullet, but you got what you got.
Right.
And just before, so we have a 3-day convoy coming up from Doha, Kuwait into Balad, Iraq, and we had 2 sleep stops we're going to stop at. You don't got a hotel, you don't got a tent. You're sleeping on the top of your truck. That's where we slept. Or on the ground. But I'm sorry, you got camel spiders and vipers, I'm not sleeping on the ground.
Now, come on.
Nah.
I just want to cuddle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever? No shit. Did you ever get to play with the remote control car, Don?
No, I was never an EOD, and they never let us play with it when we called them out. So
No. Back when we were doing Desert Moon and we got those remote control cars sent to us to chase camel spiders around with.
Oh, no, I wasn't there. I don't think we had camel spiders up in Telefar. At least I didn't see any.
Seriously? Oh, you were gone a lot. You made it back to our compound like once a week, if that.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
if that. Yeah.
So, do you feel that UFOs or even some paranormal aspects are drawn to war or combat zones?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like in Don's case, it's stuck there. I think what Don experienced on Tower,
Okay.
absolutely it could have been an Iraqi. It could have been a former soldier, U.S. soldier. As far as UFOs historically have always been drawn to war.
Right.
Okay. Do you feel being a combat vet versus a non-combat vet makes a difference?
We're trying to see things that people don't see. The attention to detail that is drilled into us from the beginning means we notice more than the average person. Our hypervigilance is always up there, so we may see things more often because we're trained to see things more often. Because seeing a piano wire, seeing a wire that's strewn across the ground at 50 miles an hour is pretty difficult for the average person to do. But we're trained to do that so heavily that seeing something out of the corner of our eye, I think we have a much more quicker reaction to it.
Jumpier.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I guess that question would be in regards to someone who went through basic training,
Right.
but ended up staying stateside doing filing work in the offices.
I think that
I think Don's answer would still apply because
yeah,
being in a combat zone versus someone that hasn't been in a combat zone, there's a big difference between training for the combat and actually being in the combat.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know? So, again, the attention to detail side that he's talking about, absolutely. We have to be here. It's the difference between life and death.
Because, like, we, even as a Sea Cadet, we trained for warship battle, but I would never compare myself to someone who's actually been out there. There's no way I could.
Right.
We competed in war games, but it's nowhere near the same. I knew I was going home at the end of it.
Right.
And that's what I think the war is. I think war is a catalyst of everything, and if you don't go through that catalyst and you don't go through that melding of real life situations, that I don't think, like, a combat veteran versus a veteran that's on the back end of it and not going to war. There's two different types of veterans and two types of attention to detail on that.
Well,
That makes any sense whatsoever.
Also,
Yeah, it does, actually.
when you're talking the brotherhood aspect too, I feel tighter with a combat vet than I do someone that was just in the army.
Yeah.
You have that bond. You have a much stronger bond with a combat vet.
Even if you didn't even fight with them. Even if it was just...
Absolutely.
So, do you guys think... Oh, go ahead, Barry.
No, I was just going to talk about, since they were over, since you're both over there, we talk about gin quite a lot. Did you have any experience with gin, or did they have, or did you know anyone that did?
I haven't, no, but I was pretty well protected as far as being exposed to all that sort of thing, I think, when I was in Iraq.
So it's hard to tell because we had a shit ton of very strange entity-style experiences. You can look at the pictures that we took, for example, which were not camera anomalies whatsoever. But I mean, like you can see the flames dancing in one of them. There's a twin dancing flame, and these are spell candles, so they're like 2-inch candles. They're not shooting a spark or no. There were some very strange anomalies in the pictures we took.
Wow.
I've got another. So we had a Llamas celebration that we did where you can actually see the elementals leaving our ritual. And
Really?
These are, oh God, yeah. These are, they streak and they're saying goodbye because elementals don't show themselves. But we bid them farewell, and that's when you see them leave. Is when we actually bid them farewell. Because we actually took a picture of each quarter when we were saying goodbye. And each quarter is leaving. And you can see them leave. You've seen those pictures. And again, if it was a camera anomaly, I could see it happening to maybe one of them. But no, you can see all 4 of them leaving.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
They all 4 showed themselves leave.
Now, with Don, with what you said, you felt like you were more protected from that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I imagine you mean from paranormal activity.
Yeah. And from physical harm, too. So
both being pagan, do you believe that...
Yeah, Morgan.
Okay, but do you both believe that being pagan and being able to do the rituals that you were able to do every day, maybe not every day, but like on a regular basis, do you think that would have helped compared to, let's say, a Christian doing it only when they really needed it? Do you think you were better protected?
I think we were better protected because we believed in it a little bit more. The evidence for a Christian is when they go to church. The evidence for a pagan, and I'm saying this as a pagan myself, so take that for what it is. But the evidence that we see is throughout every day. I could go out on the ground and lay on the ground. And I can feel the earth breathing. The Christians don't have that sort of connection, I don't think,
Some
to their
of them-
deities.
Some of them do, but no, you're right. I'd say a majority of them don't.
So I don't necessarily think, like, with prayer and everything, like, everyone talks about us being witches and everything. Everyone's a witch. Whenever you pray for something, you're putting out an intent to the universe, and you're putting out a request to the other side. And so sometimes those prayers are met, sometimes they're not. I just happen to be lucky enough to have a goddess on my side throughout the whole thing, and it was pretty apparent. And actually, a Christian, one of my Catholic friends in my platoon pointed out that I was always followed by crows. Whenever I'd go out on mission, I'd be followed by crows. Whenever I was not on mission, they would be gone. So, it like, I had a really good experience as a pagan in the military. My platoon was pretty good about it, and so, yeah, I think that the energy levels kept between my faith and my Christian brother's faith helped us out a lot.
Okay. Now, back to my questions and not Eric's, but I swear this question's on Eric's paper. You said you could hear the earth breathe, or feel the earth breathe. Is it a mouth breather? See, it's on the paper.
Okay,
Legitimate.
Put that in the file.
Okay. So, do you think paranormal are more drawn to the military based on the nature of your guys' jobs? Or is it the nature of, not just the job but itself, but what has actually all happened there? So do you believe, what I guess that would ask is like, do you believe the UFOs, the ghosts, the everything follows you from area to area that you go to, or are they stuck to the area that it has happened? Are they following you or the place? Is I guess.
The action.
So
They're not following us per se, but they're following the action that's happening in that place.
The paranormal's an adrenaline junkie.
Well,
Right, exactly.
Which actually, yeah, that kind of makes sense. It's a weird way to put it, but they feed off energy.
So with that, I would also say stuck to location too. Jinn could come here, but they're predominantly stuck in Islamic countries. That's what they are. So, for example, Iraq, they're going to be in location. UFOs are going to be stuck to the action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, are they following me? No. But I'm in Iraq. I'm involved with the action, so the UFO is going to be there. Jinn are going to be there because that's their land.
And, yeah.
I also think that
Kinda
like
look
Jinn will be there because the energies of the beliefs, like the Iraqi people believe in Jinn, so that energy is out there. So they're gonna feed off that energy. If they're over here in America, there are a lot fewer Islam and Muslim people in America than there are in Iraq and Afghanistan. So there's not enough energy to feed off of. When it comes to UFOs, I think they're watching us and how our military is evolving, just in case they have to be worried about us. So if they're watching our military bases and our war times areas, then that's what they're observing. I think that there's kind of a difference in the type of paranormal entity that is there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the Afghanistan monster?
No, I have not.
Or the the Kandahar monster, I think is what they call it. And I believe it's described as a tiger type creature.
Tiger monster.
A cat. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
If I remember right, I may
from
be
the
wrong
ancients.
again, but
Special forces attacked by unidentified creature?
yeah.
Huh.
And I believe they call that the Kandahar creature.
Was it a sphinx?
We got a break.
Oh, crap, yes. So with that, we are going to go to our first break, and we will be right back.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
No.
And we are back with hour number 2 of Military and the Paranormal. Is Don and I sit here and talk about the paranormal and our experiences, but
Add an 11 to that, and that's more accurate.
we're at hour number 11 of the 24-hour marathon.
13.
13. Okay, hell
13.
yeah! I've got my second win, kind of.
I didn't.
No, you're dragging ass.
I'm losing the second win. Now I'm getting into the third, hopefully soon. All right. So, okay. That's actually a question that's not on here, but I'm going to ask. Do you guys think your rank and position affect how the paranormal reaches you? Like, as you guys just were talking about during the break, there are a lot of special forces and Navy SEALs and those type of guys who, compared to someone who just went through basic combat.
Right. Like I said,
and let me clarify. I hate to say that,
right,
because I don't consider anyone who actually went into combat to have just gone through basic combat. Everyone who has gone through it is, you risked your lives for your country, and there is no greater sacrifice to me.
Okay, so to answer your question, though, here's the deal. Not everybody's a Ranger. Not everybody's Special Forces. Yet you see too many jumping up saying, "Oh yeah, I was in 1st Brigade. I was in 1st Ranger Regiment. I was." No, you weren't.
Well, I wasn't.
I call bullshit with a lot of them. I honestly do.
I can't say that I'm not in the military.
No, but so for example, when
Eric would say I could have been a Marine because I would have ate the green crayon. I can't say that, but Eric would.
but here's the deal. So I come home. I come back to Mount Vernon after basic, in between, because I broke my foot, and I go to Denny's like I always do. I meet my friends at Denny's. And we're sitting there, we're shooting the shit. I've got my boot cut, my head shaved. And this kid comes over. He sees my friends. He's friends with them or whatnot. He's like, "Oh, dude, you're in the Army?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "And what's your MOS?" I'm like, "Okay, so this guy knows a little bit. Anybody can look up what MOS is, though." Like 91 Bravo. Goes, "Oh, dude, I'm a Special Forces medic." I'm like, what's the designator for Special Forces medic? Like, it's 18 Delta, motherfucker. Get the hell out of here. Yeah, you get that too many times, and then they call it stolen valor. And then Obama took stolen valor away. He said it was part of the First Amendment. Here's where I have a problem. I don't give a damn. Well, I do. It does irritate me sometimes seeing some jackass walking out with my uniform on. But I've tried to tone it down. Now, you go into a bar. You go and try to get veterans benefits from a store wearing my uniform, and you've never served, that to me is stolen valor. Not just some random jackass picking up women in a bar trying to pretend like he's military. Whatever.
You see it for any form of like financial gain and stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
I have the perfect punishment for that.
What's that?
You know those guys that defuse the bombs in the big suit?
EOD.
Yeah.
Well,
they don't get the suit. But that's their service for the next 4 years.
That right?
You are going to serve your country, and you're going to make sure you do it right. Because if you don't...
Yeah. Ooh. That's harsh.
Well, but it's deserved.
Right?
At that point, it is.
Absolutely. And so, it says the Stolen Valor Act of 2013 was signed by President Barack Obama on June 3rd, 2013. I thought he took it away, though. Maybe not. The act makes it a federal crime to fraudulently claim to be a recipient of certain military decorations or medals in order to obtain money, property, or other tangible benefit. So I think that's where he changed it, because I think before... I don't know. I'm half of it's because I'm tired right now anyway. But yeah. I think my other problem too is militias. In the regard that they're running around wearing camouflage, and it takes a lot more to be military than just to wear a uniform and run around playing with a gun. There's a lot of tactical training you got to do. A lot of combat maneuvers you got to do. Anyone can wear camouflage and have a gun.
Right.
Militias to me are wannabe military. That's what I see.
Regarding a picture me and Eric saw, you should also be able to hold the gun with both hands.
Oh my God. Yeah. And if you are so large that you can't put your rifle up to your shoulder to fire it, then you probably shouldn't be trying to play soldier. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that guy, that particular picture, going, "Oh, jelly donut, you want my gun, jelly donut? No, get the hell out of my uniform."
Like I will say, I was never actually member of military service. I was in the Navy League at the age of 11 and continued on through the Sea Cadets till I was 17. Mm-hmm. And at the age of 17, I requested to be put on a submarine with the Canadian Navy, and I was denied. And I had that attitude where, fine, then I don't want to be in it. Right. So, I have a complete obsession with submarines. And
why? It's a damn... No.
Tin can.
It's a tin can underwater.
I like it. I can sneak up on people.
Cole?
Oh, gosh.
You're scared of the water.
Yeah, but the boat, I have to see the outside of the water. The submarine, I'm surrounded by metal. I'm good. Fan.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where the difference is. In 2005, President Bush made any unauthorized wear, manufacture, or sale of any military decorations and medals a misdemeanor. In 2013, it was changed by Obama to only be a crime if used for financial or material gain.
You know what? That does bother me when I go into... so, for an example of it, in West Edmonton Mall, there is a military surplus store where they do sell full uniforms that are currently being used.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
And it's with insignia. That bothers me.
Yeah.
Right.
That should bother anyone.
Yeah, like, in no way should you be able to purchase the insignia even.
No, because now you're impersonating a soldier.
Soldier, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you know...
A police officer or anything else, any official person.
If it's a uniform that hasn't been used since the Second World War or the First World War, okay, fine. That's a piece of memorabilia.
Right.
And I can get that.
An active...
Well, technically, the uniform Coop and I wore is old now.
It's obsolete. The ACU is now obsolete. Now they have some kind of marine digitized pattern. And I freaked, so I think it was 2 to 3 years ago. Anthony's, I think it...
That was 2 years ago.
Miss Dills called me and wanted me to come to a Veterans Day. He would have been in kindergarten.
Okay, no, that was 3 years ago.
So she wanted me to come and talk to the kindergarten class.
Or
was it? No, he's
they're in grade 4.
Oh God, help me out here, dear. So she wanted me to come and talk to the kindergarten class. I don't think it was first grade. It was Dills. And so I went to the recruiting station in uniform, and I had to buzz in. And the recruiter opened the door and took a step back and was like, "May I help you?" Because he's wearing the new uniform. I'm wearing, old ACUs. And it was like, "Oh, yeah, wow, you guys have to be buzzed in now, huh?" And I explained, I'm a vet. I'm going to my kids' kindergarten class, and you guys had pencils or, stickers or something. And yeah, it's all changed, but they do look at you funny wearing these using now.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
yeah, go ahead, Barry.
So, in the military, you know how we always make outside. Here, we're always looking at for best haunted places and everything else. Where do you guys think, or would you believe that some of the best haunts are in the military bases, and why?
No. Honestly, I think your best haunts are still going to be mental institutions, to be completely honest with you.
Do you really?
Uh-huh.
I would add concentration camps to that.
Well, concentration camps, but we don't have any here.
Depends on what you consider a
we have the
concentration
Japanese
camp.
We have the
internment
Japanese
camps.
internment camps, but how many Japanese died in those internment camps would be the question. Did they?
Hundreds and thousands.
Wouldn't you like to do Fort Leavenworth? For some reason, that would seem to me. I would assume that would probably be a pretty haunted place.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I could,
We would like to actually do one at Fort Casey here in Washington.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. I don't think about Fort Casey
Even
as
though
a fort.
I don't believe that fort ever actually saw battle.
It didn't. It didn't.
No.
Nothing came close enough for it to actually fire a gun.
Right.
But
I forget about Fort Casey it's Fort Casey. I get that, but military installation. I think Fort Lewis, Fort Leavenworth, Fort Knox, Fort Campbell.
so a total of 1,862
Yeah, I
people
see
died
that.
in the Japanese
Damn.
internment camps. I can't say it. Rest in
How
peace.
many did? 1,000?
1,862.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is nowhere near the numbers in Europe, but still, that's
right. That's a significant amount.
That's
for
1,800 or 1,862 too many. For
Yeah.
Morning, good afternoon. Is it
Good afternoon, Scott.
Don't do that to me. It's not afternoon. Fred, you got me all excited.
It is for him. It's still morning here. And it's been long 14 hours? No, I guess 11 hours.
I just looked at the time and I was like, did we miss a break? No.
Nikki, how you doing?
Oh, Nikki's in. Hi, Nikki.
Hey, where were you guys for the first 12 hours? What the heck?
They were sleeping.
Who sleeps nowadays? Friend, that's something of the past. All right, so do you guys, or how do you feel about the accusation of a secret military working with aliens or on abductions?
Oh, I absolutely believe it.
But how does it make you feel?
I do too, but it pisses me off. And to be totally honest with you, when you're talking secret military, I do think it's Delta Force, not actual military forces. That's my thoughts.
Well, wouldn't Delta Force still be a military?
Yeah, I'm confused there.
Yeah, so, I'm kind of lost there. So can you explain that one for me?
Okay, Delta Force is a combination of all branches.
Oh,
so
okay.
when you're selected for Delta Force, they select what they consider the best of the best. So a lot of special forces, a lot of Rangers, a lot of NCOs, and I don't know specifically what their criteria is. When I was selected, I had already done 2 combat tours and I don't know what they look at. So I had good evaluations as a leader. I was an E5 promotable at that point in time. So that doesn't mean you're about to get promoted. E5 promotable just means you went to a board. The only reason I couldn't get promoted was because, so it's a point system. And I've been maxed out on my award points, I think in the first 3 years at least, of my military service, just between Somalia and Desert Storm. I had 50 points worth of awards. So you get points for a maxed out PT test. That's your push-ups, sit-ups, run. I wasn't maxed out. I did a 15-minute 2-mile run. There's no way, and I wasn't in top fitness shape. So, yeah, I could have done better with PT. The only other way I could have gotten points would have been college. I didn't have time for college. I had soldiers to take care of.
That officer sitting there thinking, man, I could have ran him through like 6 more months of remedial.
So the only thing I can look at as far as the criteria they would have selected NCOs for Delta would have been evaluations. And so you're rated as an NCO. You are basically given a report card once a year. And you're either going to be recommended for promotion with your peers or above your peers. Most of mine were with your peers because I had crap seniors over me. There's only 2 or 3 that I would say were great. And we got along great.
From what me and you have talked about in the past, I would have to say a lot of that was political.
It was. You know, looking at it, sort of Wemhoff was great. A lot of it was race related. I'll say that too. And I hate to say it that way, but there is a lot of racial discrimination against the black versus white. If you it sounds bad, but if you have a black leader and she has other black NCOs, she will. And I say she, but because I refer to one specifically, and there's another one specifically that hated my guts because I didn't suck up to them. So I actually pinned 2 other E5s. I promoted them, and me having years over them, still they sucked up to them. I didn't. The hell is that?
It's Barry, I think.
The boat is leaving the
The boat is leaving the pier.
That's us, guys.
Huh?
That was here.
Was it?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
The boat is leaving the harbor.
What boat? We got a river boat? What the hell?
Huh? It's only 60 miles away. We could hear it.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's a guy who has a special horn on his trunk that he thinks is funny.
Oh.
And he's wrong.
Don't they know we're trying to make a show here?
Hey, so when you guys are over there, are there any cryptids specific to the areas that you were in? And did you see any cryptids in the areas that you were in?
Over where? You talking Middle East?
I'm talking Middle East, I'm talking Somalia. Any of the places that you went that wasn't, like, in Washington, you know?
Cryptids, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that I saw any or heard of any cryptids out in Iraq or even in Germany. I don't think there's really anything that's prevailing out there.
Not that I recall. There's more Fae in Europe than there was.
Oh yeah.
You know, you got the Black Forest. You have gnomes. Huh. I mean, but yeah.
I can't let you off the hook on that last question we were doing yet because you guys both answered very quickly that.
Which one?
Yes, there is a military group that's working with
Delta Force. I never finished Delta. I never finished Delta Force. So Delta Force, from what I understand, because I went to the brief, and Delta Force is phenomenal. But I do think they select from the ones they feel. So to explain the procedure, you go to a brief. I had to go to the brief twice because I missed the first one because I was actually on
PT.
No. I was actually in charge of the installation gate for security because it was right after 9/11. And 9/11 happened. We went straight to lockdown. I mean, we had tanks. We had tanks rolling through German streets. We freaked the hell out of the Germans because as soon as 9/11 happened, we had M1 Abrams rolling through town and blocking off streets. We went straight to the gates are closed. You have to go in a zigzag pattern with your vehicle around barricades with a weapon pointed at you. You will stop. If you don't stop, you get shot. We have mirrors that went underneath your vehicle to look for bombs. We checked IDs. I mean, it was 100% lockdown. So I was on gate for about 3 months. I get called and told, Sergeant Cooper, you need to be at the theater at 8 o'clock for a Delta Force brief. I'm like, and they're like, you have no option. You've been selected. You got to be there. I'm like, well, you better come relieve my ass because I don't leave my post. Obviously. Well, nobody relieved me, so I missed it. The Sergeant Major and the Colonel both got pulled into an office and got their ass chewed because Sergeant Cooper was not at a Delta Force brief. And they tried to chew my ass like, look, nobody came to relieve me. I can't leave the gate. And so my platoon sergeant and E7 came to the gate to relieve me so I could go to this Delta Force brief. So they go through their whole spiel. You get 5 weapons of your choice, modified any way you want. Your car breaks down while you're on a mission. We come get your car, take it to the compound, we fix it. Yada, yada, yada. Sounds great. NASCAR does your driver's training. You want to blow up a building, we get it all cleared. You get to blow up the building with your team. Yada, yada, yada. Like, sounds great. Where do I sign up? And pretty much, if you pass all their tests, you are packed up and you're gone. They don't tell your unit a damn thing. You're pulled from your unit and you're straight out Delta Force. So the recruiter for Delta says, okay, yeah, you got to be here for a PT test. That was a unique PT test because usually you just do your push-ups. This guy's got his hand on your elbow to make sure every push-up is locked out. That's the only time that's ever happened. I did 55 push-ups. Went to do my sit-ups. I did 31 sit-ups. I needed 32. I couldn't move. So, he's like, I'll be back. If you want to try again, I'll be back. Here's the deal. I still had to do at least a 15-minute run. There's no way in hell I was going to do a 15-minute run after all that. I hadn't done PT in at least 3 months because I was on guard for 24 hours, 12 hours off, 24 on. But even had I passed the PT test, you have to swim across and back a Olympic-sized swimming pool with a pack on, full uniform, and boots. I don't swim.
Wow.
So, I mean, yeah, I wasn't going to make it anyway. But their testing is strenuous. Again, they pull from every branch. They pull from Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Rangers. You're talking the best of the best goes to Delta Force. Now,
Right.
you have to pass the psych test. So I'd imagine going through their psych test, they would pick who they can manipulate the most. They would probably pick who they know is not going to talk. And those are who are going to be in the secret military program. That would be my guess on it. Not your average Joe soldier.
Yeah,
Because-
but you guys were so dead set on it being, yes, there is something in the arc that they are working with ET. That's where I'm kind of. I thought it was just rapidly fired out, just real quick.
I do,
So-
but again, I think it's Delta. I don't think soldiers like us are going to be doing that. Because there's a
Just because
difference.
of the secrecy of it. Just because of
Right.
the secrecy.
So there's a difference. There's a difference between Don and I having classified information pertaining to combat, pertaining to the Middle East, pertaining to war. There's another factor. If you're going to tell or take us to an underground base where there's aliens and government officials torturing American humans, especially American humans. It kind of goes to the factor of martial law. Now, I've brought this up to my soldiers many times. Would we ever, if we were put in a martial law position, would we ever fire on American civilians? And the answer, hands down, for all of us was hell no. Unless they have a firearm and they're shooting at us. That changes the whole scenario. But if they're just throwing a bottle at me or a brick at me and they're pissed off, they're aggressive because they're mad, we're not going to shoot on them. They're our blood.
Yeah.
They're our countrymen. So they got to make sure if it's a military unit that is in an underground facility with aliens that are abducting humans, that's American civilians.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Well, that makes.
a little awkwardly off topic here, but it's kind of on the same topic here. So, what are your guys' thoughts on the Super Soldier program, and do you think it's fact or fiction?
I don't know.
I have a hard one with that one. Because when you're looking at the history of it, they were picked. You see TV shows like that. They were picked as kids, and they're taken to the secret place, and they're where are they? If they got secret super soldiers, how come they're not going to combat?
Okay.
Right.
They're definitely not in Special Forces and Rangers. I know Special Forces and Rangers. Real Special Forces and Rangers, not the random guys going, yep, I used to be a Ranger. Really? Okay, whatever. Sit down. But so as a medic, I didn't hang out with medics. I had friends that were riggers. I had friends that were Rangers, Special Forces, EOD, infantry. I didn't hang out with... I had my friends, don't get me wrong, but most of the soldiers I hung out with and went drinking with and whatnot weren't in my platoon. So, I don't see it.
Okay, and do you think that the MyLabs and MyLab scenarios have anything to do with military personnel as well as like CIA and FBI, or do you think that is strictly more on a federal basis with...
That's the Delta Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by those are Delta Force soldiers. Those ain't your random soldiers.
Okay.
What do you think, Don?
About the Super Soldier program?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. It seems a little far-fetched. The way, especially the way that Eric pointed out, like, where are these kids being taken to and everything. Even if it's, I think they're more so trying to train or figure out some, like, serum like on Captain America that'll help the general populace overall of soldiers. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a program where they take kids away from their parents, and because what happens to these parents at the same time? Like,
yeah, but I mean, if you actually think about it that way, like, think about some of the other countries, and think about the fact that just for the Olympics, they take kids away at a small age, and they teach them specifically how to do this.
So, honestly, when I hear Super Soldier, I do think of the German project. The Germans did try that. Did the U.S.? If anything, from what I understand, the Super Soldier project was in an underground facility underneath Wright Pat. Have you heard that, Barry, or no?
I've heard a lot of things about Wright Pat, and I've actually had civilians have gone out there for what do they call it, air warden type training, and have been walking through the areas and getting the wrong spot and then escorted out of certain buildings.
Right.
But some of the things that they say that they may have looked at or saw was memorable. Let's say that. It's kind of like Area 51. Area 51's not like it used to be. I don't think Wright Pat's like it used to be. I mean, it's more of a museum now and everything else. And if there is something going on under there, it's so well hidden now that I'd almost be afraid to be down there to see it, because something may be that terrible going on. Because that's where I put it. That's where I put this thing is at this time in my life.
I think most of your UFO and alien experimentation and work is going on at Area 51. I do still think that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it's Dugway.
I'll get to Dugway. That was my next one. After Wright Pat. I think Wright Pat may be the Super Soldier Project. I don't think you've got the... I mean, and they may be misleading us. I think... I don't think there's... so we know Wright Pat is where they took the alien bodies and the craft originally from Roswell. And then they transferred it over to Area 51. I'm pretty sure of that one. Dugway, you hear rumors about it being Area 52.
Yes, exactly.
But Dugway is more your bio facility. That's where the anthrax is. That's where the sarin gas is. That's where the virology labs are.
Yeah,
I don't see them mixing that.
Okay, when they say Area 51 and Area 52, does that mean there's 50 previous areas, or that there's 50 other areas that are doing this?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm honestly not sure what the 51 means.
I don't know either. It's always just been Area 51 and Area 52 now coming out.
And that was, and honestly, I think I have a feeling that was a misinformation ploy to make everyone think they moved Area 51 to Area 52. But in reality, it's still going on at Area 51. They just threw everybody off. I mean, we don't know. We really don't.
Right.
Nobody stormed it.
It's really funny. I've done, here in Kentucky, we've got a Bluegrass Army Depot, and it's two different locations, and it's and they store all of the gas and all of the terrible things that you don't want to know that the military has underground in these facilities.
That's why they're called.
There's bunkers all over the place, just lined up, full of sarin gas, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right here in Kentucky.
That's why they're called. That's why they're called proving grounds.
Right. Well, yeah, they call them just as the depot here.
Right.
The depots, but it's so strange. They don't have an airport. They don't have anything there. But some of the people that were working on, stealth, paint, some of the other stuff has offices around those facilities. The glass that was kind of like to try to make things a cloak or clone that looks like it would be a cloud and take on the shapes of the cloud was manufactured in those areas. But no airport, and I've seen vertical takeoff B-wings on that facility, which really bothers me.
It's like an osprey.
Yeah. But 52, at one time, I had taken some photos off of Google, and boy, there's some weird stuff up there on the ground, and now you can't see it as well as you can. But it's also very close to NORAD, as the crow flies. So I would assume that it being that close to NORAD, that there might be something really weird going on there.
So, Nikki wants to know, Area 51, S4, and those have not only physical protection, but also astral. Honestly, I don't think they do. The Pentagon, I could definitely see having astral defenses, or remote viewing defenses. Area 51, possibly.
I would say they would have to.
I think it has.
They would have to have them. Because
I would say maybe inside S4.
Well, if there was a possibility of somebody being able to go and remotely view or do an astral travel to Area 51 and see everything that they have.
You can have other barriers, psychic barriers, without having astral people.
I think that you would have to have at least one, like maybe guarding the perimeter there. And saying, hey, you know what, buddy? Let's not go in here, just in case it came down to like a battling form.
But that's the point. You could have wards and barriers in place without actually having people employed.
Yeah. Well, I think it's strange because I tried that once out there, and I ended up in on a platform for one of the trains, and it was a very weird occasion, and thinking of I was being actually looked at myself while I was there, and I didn't like that feeling at all.
Right.
No matter what you tried to do. So I think there is that kind of psychic thing going on in our military at more opportunities than what we would actually believe there are.
I don't think the military, though. I would say.
Well, that's the other part. I mean, if you're in that kind of facility, you're right. What is that?
I would say, so when you're talking the astral, the remote viewing, that's more of a CIA program. I would say there's probably more CIA agents that are doing that, not military. But I would agree, not necessarily astral or remote, because there's too many locations like that. You imagine the personnel you'd have to employ to constantly watch that. And we know with astral, it takes a lot of energy just to do a 3 to 4 hour case, or multiple cases for 3 to 4 hours. So, yeah, like I said, psychic wards, psychic barriers, absolutely. But if you're talking actually people astral or remote watching, I would say the Pentagon.
Yeah, The Pentagon makes sense to me also.
See, to me, I find Area 51 to be really odd. Because usually where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? So everything that they've ever said is unhackable. Every area that they've ever said, that you can't get into this. This has the top security. This is the safe. This is the that. But, there's usually always that one person that's like, all right, watch this.
Right.
Sit back. Hold my soda. Whatever it is. Right?
Anything's hackable.
But we usually hear about that sometime down the road. Like, hey, there was a security breach at the Pentagon. This guy got into this system. Like, even the upper ones. But you have never heard of somebody breaching Area 51. You've never heard of anybody that is not supposed to be there being there. Well, I mean, see, that's the thing with, like, hackers and people like that, is they wouldn't be able to help tell at least
guess what I did. Yeah,
a particular amount of people.
Right.
But, I mean, you look through anything, and there is no one that has gotten into there.
Most of your hackers have a competition amongst themselves anyway. They're going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look at so when you're looking at cybersecurity of Area 51, where most of it's going to be underground. That's
going to be S4,
right? And what kind of cyber do they have? Nobody really knows.
Right.
Nobody probably ever will know.
Windows XP.
Oh God.
Right.
Yeah.
When you hear Bob Lazar's stories, he's talking. They have retinal scan. They have multiple sources.
That one.
And that's from 20 years ago. That's 20 years ago. I mean, Lazar is that far back, and he was talking about that 20 years ago.
He was even talking. You had to stand on a scale. And even so much as, a quarter ounce off, they knew you had a memory stick or they knew you had something.
Something else.
Just by any kind of anomaly in your weight.
Well, yeah, but gold mines have been doing that for years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
True.
Sure.
Oh, you've got a nugget in your pocket.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
And I have an uncle who works in Quesnel, BC in a gold mine, and he is checked when he goes in, his weight, and when he comes out, he is checked.
Oh, yeah. You ain't taking
Have you ever seen Area 51 off of Google or anything like that? Have you ever taken a look at that area?
It's been a while.
Yeah, well, it's a strange thing to me is it looks like it's the moon.
Huh.
I mean, there is underground areas that they've been, looks like they have doors, but it looks like craters. And I was wondering if anybody had any thoughts on that, of why they would do that. Is it, how we train militarily, as we talked earlier today about National Guard facilities being able to shoot for long range and everything else, but it looks like a moon surface to me. It looks like they built a darn moon surface out there.
Huh.
But it's desert.
Yeah. But I mean, when you see this stuff, the last time I did it and I looked at it, I was like going, "Whoa, that don't look right," and it looks more like a planet surface than.
You've also got to remember that used to be a nuclear testing facility.
True. Right. Yeah.
So, most of the desert in Nevada was part of the nuclear testing facility. So I would say some of those craters may have been from, the nuclear testing.
All right. Again, really kind of odd and almost off topic here, but you guys have seen, the shows like Warehouse 13 and, the Librarians and those type of things where there's different artifacts or different types of power in this, and they kind of keep it somewhere. Now, do you think that if we were to find anything like that, that it would be held up in Area 51? Or do you think that there'd be a separated facility for something like that? And, like the Vatican.
I keep
guess.
telling you, even if you find out
I
they're
think
real,
it's
they're not going to hire you.
I could see the Vatican housing those kind of things.
Yeah. I
Oh,
can
then they're
imagine.
never going to hire me. Come on.
I can also, I mean, Fort Knox, there's something weird about Fort Knox. I mean, Don, you were up there, correct?
Yeah, I was in basic and job training up there.
Yeah, and there's something strange about that. I mean, that's like going, I think that goes deeper down, and the deeper down you go, I think it's got, it may have alien stuff in there. I mean, it makes it perfect. It's one of the most secure vaults around. So if it has multi levels and you go down lower and lower, and for some reason or other, here in Kentucky, there's been a lot of UFO sightings around that area.
So, with that,
So it
too,
kind of makes me think, well, maybe there is something there that they'd like to have back.
you got to remember too, in that vicinity, you've got Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which I don't think is too far from you, right?
Well, it's pretty good ways. I mean, we've got Fort Campbell and the 167 SOAR Night Stalkers. You know,
that was my other one. Fort Campbell and Fort Bragg are where Delta Force, Special Forces, you got Ranger regiments that are there. When you're talking those three alone, you're going to talk a lot of UFO and testing equipment, a lot of experimental craft that they're testing, things of that nature. And, again, Fort Bragg, as a crow flies, or as a UFO flies, ain't that far away.
No, right, exactly. Yeah, Fort Bragg's not that far away.
Not when it comes to an aircraft. And between Fort Campbell, because Fort Campbell is where Delta Force trains, Fort Bragg is where they're housed. Their compound is on Bragg.
Mm.
Do you think each country would have their own, or it would be like a joint
For what?
facility type thing?
For what?
Well, I mean, so we talk about, Area 51 and all the crash site remnants and everything that we have. Now, what would be, the, let's say, French equivalent to that? Or
Foreign Legion?
The Louvre.
Okay. So you think that each country might have its own basic Area 51?
Oh,
So,
no.
Australia's got Pine Gap.
The Vatican shares with everybody. What are you talking about?
Okay.
I'm not sure what the UK's got.
Okay.
I just
Scotland
know...
Yard.
Huh?
Scotland Yard. The tunnels.
Right.
Okay, but each country has to have something
Something
kind
similar, yeah.
of that nature then.
Not every country. There's some of them that are too poor to have any of it. Truthfully.
They all have their own Special Forces version, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the UN has... So, if you look, there's a video called Human Abductions.
Mm.
And it's quite extensive. It involves... And they never actually really showed the soldier, because he was terrified of being exposed. But his job with a 5-man team was a quick response to go secure UFO crash sites and to go secure human mutilated bodies.
Huh.
And then he said the U.S. would be the first ones. It might take them 3 days, but their job was to secure the scene until the U.S. got there. And most of these were in, I want to say, Netherlands or Netherlands.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's disturbing when the producer of this documentary, because it was focused on what this soldier said, but they actually had an array that would pop up out of the ground and was able to track UFOs coming in and shoot them down. So, so if we have that kind of technology, I mean, goddamn.
Okay, so we're talking
So
like
British-
a big death ray.
I don't exactly know where they keep everything, but I know it's the British Secret Service that handles it because we actually watched a show, and it will be featured in the next show, where the scientists who discovered an item only had it for a certain amount of hours till the British Secret Service came in and took it.
Yes.
Bastards.
Yeah, no,
And
this
no,
is
they were-
real. This
so they
is
were told-
awesome.
they-
You'll
they-
see about that in the next
They were
couple
told
hours.
they had a certain amount of hours with it.
I know, but they're keeping a mythological creature.
No,
No.
It's on display now, but
Oh, okay.
they handled all transport.
Huh. Huh.
So
There are some weird transports that have been running around. I will say that.
Oh, trust me. This one's probably one of the weirdest I have ever seen or heard of.
Well, you're going to be on the show anyway, Barry, so you'll hear about it in person.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, thanks.
He's like, maybe I'll be on the show.
I'm just saying, guys, we all lost.
Huh?
We did. Man, okay, so Barry, we were sitting here, we were taking bets on how many shows you were going to make it and how many hours from the time, because we knew that you had oh, wow.
A hunt yesterday.
Yes, there we go. That you went out
hours
to.
and we're done.
And I kind of feel like an ass now, but I pinned you at about 12:10 our time. So
With that, guys, we are going to go to our last break for this show. So we'll be back.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Stir. Cooper.
Welcome back to
welcome back to S4. The
Echo.
last hour of paranormal and the military.
Oh, hold on.
One of our favorite topics. What?
Did you not have that? Yeah!
Continue.
Okay, yeah, you was right. You're playing with sound effects. Oh, okay.
Izzy reminded me that they're here.
Oh, no,
Of course you did.
Izzy, what the hell? Okay, it is too late for me to be freaking out when a sound effect goes off. Okay, hey, before we get to anything else, guys, guess what it is time for? It is time for
lunch?
the third
Oh, wait, that's-
Do you need anything
mystery
from Martin?
word of the night.
No.
So the third mystery word of the night is going to be bamboozled. I repeat, bamboozled.
This is word number
Look,
3.
someone remembered this stuff.
Word number 3.
This is word number 3. Remember to get all 5 of those mystery words into an email and send it to s4radiowinner@gmail.com for a
you will
special
get a prize.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
I was bamboozled to find that Barry was still awake and with us.
Oh, you're so silly.
Oh, man. Dang it all.
Oh.
Oh, so we're doing a show.
Yeah, showtime.
So you two.
Mm-hmm.
You two. When it comes to the paranormal investigation, do you believe soldiers have an edge?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think that with what I said earlier about our attention to detail and with the combat experience, we have a little bit more of a quick reaction to things if we see it on the side of our eye or whatnot. We're also not afraid to go forward and try to figure it out either.
Right. Okay. You pegged it. You pegged it. So yeah, attention to detail. We notice things that your normal paranormal investigator is not going to because we're trained for that. And agreed. There's not much that scares us. I'm sorry, but when a bullet goes whizzing past you, it's like, hey, look, a ghost. Hi. High five. Yeah, whatever.
Where did a ghost get a gun?
Huh?
What? Didn't you say when a bullet goes past you, and then you said, "Hey, there's a ghost"?
Oh no. So yeah, when you've been to a combat zone and you've dealt with being shot at. When you've dealt with dead
I got
bodies,
you. I
She
got you.
hasn't been on any
I'm
of the
sorry.
cool investigations. That's all.
Right. And then you go in a paranormal investigation and there's a ghost. It's like, you got a gun, you got a shooter me too. High five. Here, have a beer. Whatever. And same with Bigfoot. Same with aliens, and especially when you've been in the military and you've actually dealt with these paranormal things in the military. What's the difference?
So, do you guys think that having PTSD has an impact regarding the paranormal? Like, does it affect the way the paranormal reacts to you?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It might trigger something in our brains, like chemically or spiritually, to where we notice it, and then they probably pick up on that, kind of like a beacon. But other than that, I'm not sure.
Yeah. When it comes to PTSD on an investigation, for example, yeah, you're going to be a little more hypervigilant. You might be a little more anxious because of the PTSD. So when you're on an investigation, it may affect you on the investigation.
Okay.
As far as, and again, with FMP, we didn't honestly do a whole lot of boots on ground cases.
No.
But the ones I did go on with the team, I'm thinking here. I don't think it really, the PTSD side affected me as much.
Okay.
because, again, our team was like a family. Now, there's a difference between having people that you're close to, people that you know around you, versus being in a crowd of strangers.
Honestly, I gotta say that question wouldn't really be set for you. Because of how honestly well protected you are at all times.
No, that's true.
So, I'm talking a soldier who doesn't have a lot of dealings with the paranormal.
So, honestly,
Coming
okay.
in,
So your
fresh.
average soldier with PTSD, yeah, they're going to be heavily affected.
Okay.
You know, because Don's as protected as I am when it comes to that.
I
So
figured.
when you're talking the average soldier that's got PTSD, yeah, you've got me thinking the other direction now. But yeah, PTSD in general, I know of soldiers that can't leave their house. I'm not going to say names, but yeah, I know a couple personally that can't leave their house. So absolutely, and in the state they are. When it comes to the other side of that, would paranormal be drawn to that to mess with them? Hell yeah. But again, the particular soldier I'm thinking of is also protected on that side of it. But him coming out to go investigate, no, wouldn't happen.
Okay.
And I'd say that's probably the case for most of them.
Would
So
you-
it also depends how much help they get, for one. If there's other underlying factors besides the PTSD that may hinder that, like TBI, like other things. And once they hit the plateau, so you've got PTS. PTS is post-traumatic stress. All soldiers have PTS. Usually it goes away after 6 months, and you're back to normal. PTSD is for those that don't recover from the post-traumatic stress, and that's just being able to get back on your feet after being in a combat zone. Some soldiers can recover from that, and they're just fine. These are the soldiers that might have had one combat tour and not seen a whole lot. But just being in the combat zone by itself, just being in Iraq by itself, is stressful enough. When you've done multiple tours in a prolonged time period is usually when you have post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's when your mind can't recover beyond 6 months to a year. And that's a lifetime. You're stuck with PTSD for life. But if you have medication, if you find out what works for you, then you can hit what's called the plateau. And that's where you're stable. You can't work necessarily, but you're stable in your normal day-to-day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that soldier that's on the plateau would probably be okay in like the paranormal investigation side, dealing with the paranormal, that kind of thing. Before you hit the plateau, probably not, because you can get snapped right back in. I could get, so me being on the plateau, for example, going to a psychiatrist that I was and him putting me through immersion therapy took me right the hell out of my plateau, right back to, I'm gone, I'm done, I'm violent. And it took time to get back to that plateau point. And at that point in time, he said, you will never do EMDR, which is the light treatment in the eyes. He said, and don't ever let them change your medication. Don't ever let them put you through immersion therapy, ever. Because you're done. You will hit the plateau point and hopefully stay there. You know, it is what it is.
Okay. So, do you guys think a military spirit would have a more positive reaction to a military paranormal investigator versus a civilian?
Absolutely.
We even see that at the hall. I mean, I see that at the hall all the time. Even though there's Civil War soldiers,
right?
If a vet comes in and is doing an investigation, there is a camaraderie there that lasts forever.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. You know, just like we want to test that theory out too at Fort Casey, because we were talking. What was it? The communications room is the
radio room.
The radio room, and that's a military member, isn't it? Didn't you see that was a military member?
I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah, that hangs out there.
The spirit.
Yes.
So
I like to call him radar.
So, you know, being a military spirit, because, you know, they haven't passed over, usually they haven't passed over if they're still stuck here. So they're still going to be military-minded. And it being an old fort, although it didn't see combat, it didn't see war, but he's still there doing his job. He's probably going to be quite aggravated and pissed off seeing civilians walking around. Mm-hmm. What the hell are you doing? I'm doing... Why are you here? This is a fort. How did you get on base? You know, that kind of thing. Whereas, I put my uniform on, I walk in. So, he's probably Navy. I say I don't know if it's here or not, but... I walk in with an Army uniform on. He's probably still going to go, why the hell are you're Army? What the? Okay, get to work. Whatever. You know, try to put me to work. Maybe try to communicate because it's military to military versus why the hell are you here? You're a civilian.
Mm-hmm. Well, and just because it's an old fort and it itself hasn't seen combat,
right,
doesn't mean
he did.
That he didn't see combat.
Right.
And there's several people, well, I mean, you guys know, you start out in one area, you move to another area, you move to another area, and there's plenty of people that served on that fort that had seen combat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just like...
Because it was up all through World War I, World War II. I mean, it's just some massive amount of combat that was seen by a lot of them.
And yeah, it's just like... so... I think... Don, when you got back to base after Iraq, did you find yourself looking around at other soldiers on base to see if they had a combat patch?
All the time.
Did it irritate you to see E6s, E7s, and officers that had never been to combat?
Yeah, and it sucked because when I came back from Iraq, I was just about to ETS out of my third year, and I saw this Butterbar lieutenant, and I'm like, man, I got more combat experience than he has in his right? And he's in charge of an entire platoon. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is, and that's how life goes. But yeah, I would get irritated quite quickly at that. Like, not really. I wouldn't respect them as quickly as I would a seasoned veteran. Oh
no! And being in the Warrior Transition Battalion and having to go to Madigan all the time, the hospital, and seeing, I don't know, sergeant majors and first sergeants and high-ranking officers that don't deploy. Why the hell are you in the Army? Your job's to go to war. That is your job.
Yeah, and I can't say that there's not been enough conflicts because the United States has been at war for like 100,000 years at this point. Yeah.
But it really irritated me to see the same units and the same soldiers going back to back to back to back. And other ones, I don't want to go. I can't go to war. I knew E6s, an E6 specifically, that, oh my God, I'm getting a divorce. I can't go. And he's my squad leader in the WTB.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for asking this, but I really want to know. Does it bother the two of you that the last 3 of the last 4 presidents never served?
Yeah, I think being a commander-in-chief of the military services requires some sort of ability to command and lead.
So I'm going to get in trouble for answering this way, but it disturbs me more that our current one is a draft dodger.
Yeah, that's
what pisses me off. Okay, the other ones, they didn't serve. But to avoid going is an even bigger disgrace. That's what pisses me
I agree
off.
with you on that, yeah.
And so there's going to be the ones that love the commander-in-chief and are going to say, he didn't dodge. No. But his medical records, and it's been proven, were altered to show bone spurs, to keep him from going. So, no. BS. He got out of going to Vietnam. That's a disgrace. He shouldn't be in charge of a military if he can't himself go. That's where I'm at with that. And
why did Bill not go?
Huh?
Why did Clinton not go?
Oh, I have no idea. I really don't. Watch to look at the state of politics, and not even the commander-in-chiefs, the presidents. I wouldn't even go with the presidents. But watch Fahrenheit 9/11, and I love what he does in the end when he actually goes to the congressman and says, so I have this Marine recruiter here. Would you sign your kids up to go? And half of them walked away and wouldn't even talk to him.
I don't like
That's
him.
a disgrace. When you can have a prince of England hide because he wants to go serve, and yeah, he got yanked out really quick, obviously, because he put his family in danger by going. I get that. But
he put his fellow soldiers in danger by going.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
But at least he had the balls to want to go. That's more than an American politician can say with his kids.
Friend,
It is.
Yeah.
it is, but at the same time, he screwed up in the first place.
Huh?
That little shit screwed up in the first place. If he would have asked his grandmother, she would have sent him. Because she served.
Yeah.
She did?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
She believes in the service. But he instead went around her back and did it himself.
But that's more than your American politicians can say. It really is. And I hate to say it that way, but it is what it is. And since we're talking this way, and I'm going to end the politics side with this because it really irritates me. Is all these people that say the patriots need to stand up. Well, you know what? You don't know what the hell a patriot is. Because a patriot, a true patriot, does not stand behind a party. A true patriot stands behind the Constitution regardless of the party. Mm-hmm. You see, you saw all those, I call them oath breakers, but they're oath keepers. But honestly, why are you going to go protect Trump's rally from all the radicals when both sides are radical? Those aren't patriots. A patriot, again, stands behind the Constitution, not behind a party. And I'll leave it at that.
I do just gotta say,
Huh?
I right now I have a list in front of me of all the presidents and their service
Okay.
throughout the years. The worst one I still have to say is Grover Cleveland.
What did he do?
He hired a substitute to serve in his place during the American Civil
What?
War.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We can do that.
I know you can do that.
I don't think you can do it now, but I think you can do it
Oh,
now.
okay.
Oh, no, probably not now.
Other than that, there was only 4 other people that didn't serve, and it was because they're like either A, they weren't able to, or B, there was no war.
Well, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, but even if there was no war, you could still be in service.
Well, you serve at peacetime.
Yeah.
Well, okay, no, but kind of. These guys are before World War One, but after Civil War, there is no.
I got you.
Hey, Don.
Yeah,
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about seeing our flag flying on people's trucks?
I think they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think they're doing it to shove their patriotism in people's throats. Especially because if they have that blue stripe or that red stripe, that's technically illegal. But if I see them on their trucks, I know that they're generally conservative and they're supporting a president that I don't agree with. So,
And I, regardless of whether or not we agree with the president, I find it desecrating the flag. I'm going to say that. You're flying at 60 miles an hour, you're destroying a flag, and like you said, for the wrong damn reason.
How do you feel about a tattoo of the flag?
I don't. Okay, let's take it farther. The tattoo of the flag. Okay, I can get on board with that.
it doesn't deteriorate.
That's your body, whatever. But wearing the flag as a shirt, that's actually
that's a different
against
thing.
regulations. Country's regulations. You're not supposed to wear the flag as clothes. You're not.
What about a picture of the flag? Like if it's in
A picture of a flag on a T-shirt?
Yeah.
That's different. But you see these people...
But like wearing the one that's actually made out of the same material and...
Not even the same material, but wearing the flag. And again, like Don said, those are just conservatives that... I'm patriotic. No, you're not. You're stupid.
The reason I asked about the tattoo is... I'm always looking for new tattoo ideas. Uh-huh. And one of mine was having... it would look like my skin was ripped open, and underneath you would see both flags flying, the Canadian and the American,
that's cool.
to represent both sides of the family.
Yeah, that's cool.
See, that's the thing about tattoos is that they don't deteriorate, and I think that's the biggest problem with flying the flag on the trucks and wearing it on. Like after a few washes, the shirt's going to go and fade. The truck flag is going to tatter. The tattoo, on the other hand, is permanent, and it's not going to.
It's not
unless you see a lot of sun, it's not going to deteriorate in any which way.
Right. But no, just flying at random because you want to support whatever. You think you're a patriot, you're really not. You're flying the flag for the wrong reason. You're flying it on a civilian vehicle, and you're ruining the flag. You're tattering it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with just flying the regular ones, or like the little ones you buy in the stores.
Oh yeah.
Like for 4th of July.
That's 4th of July. That's
different.
And
I get that, but my issue is what people do with them afterwards.
Throw them away.
Like I have one at the house here. My daughter grabbed it the other day and wanted to wave it around, and I said that's fine, but when you are done looking at it and waving it, you because of the type of flags it is, you cannot fold this, but you roll it back up and it's put back where it was. It's treated with respect. Right. I don't care if it's just a cheap little thing that I bought for $2. It's still the flag. And I may not be from this country, but my kids are. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to instill that idea of
pride.
Yeah. Be proud of where you're from. And that's
I have a hard time with that anymore.
Wow.
No.
I really do.
I think we all do. But
no,
and that's both countries.
I've said this in veteran, or I've said this under some people's comments. I brought up the Patriot thing in one of the locals' comments. That they don't understand what a Patriot is, and the way I feel anymore is having gone through 4 tours. I didn't go through 4 tours for this country to be this divided. And this country, I don't know, this country's not this country anymore. It really ain't.
Right. Yeah.
This country's
now let me ask you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got to ask you guys a question. We'll get going back into the paranormal thing. It's something that I'd like your opinion on. Over here in this area, we have battlefields in Tennessee and Kentucky of Civil Wars, Gettysburg. What do you guys think about doing ghost hunts on battle property? And also, what do you think about if you would do it at the Unknown Soldiers Tomb or something like that, or in that kind of degree? What would you think?
As long as it's done with respect, I would say go for it. But maybe not the Unknown Soldiers Tomb, because that's not an actual tomb. That's a monument.
It's a symbol.
But battlefields and everything, where there are paranormal hotspots, I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I'm on the fence with it. I honestly am. I think it's and I agree with Don. It depends how it's done. You're gonna go in there, but that's with any investigation. You don't ever instigate a spirit. You don't ever disrespect a spirit, whether it's on a battlefield or a sanitarium. But I also think it depends on what your motivation for doing it is. Are you trying to connect? Are you just trying to get evidence? Are you just? I think it depends on the motivation. What's your agenda?
Yeah, I mean, some of these people have these events, paranormal events, and they're there to make money and bring as many people in as possible. Okay, and you're going to have people that are walking around in sacred areas, what I consider to be sacred grounds. There is a respect factor. Hopefully every paranormal investigator has that respect factor when they go anywhere. But most of these events, and when you do these large events, because of COVID, we're not doing them now, but beforehand, it kind of you bring a different kind of investigator towards that property. One that doesn't know anything.
You bring a different kind of atmosphere to it too, though. Like you said, it is in a sense sacred ground.
Yeah, it's more like a circus in my book, but I mean,
right.
We honestly, though, should have been able to do investigations at Phase 1. What are we going to do? Give the ghost COVID? Like, really? What?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
You might become a ghost.
Oh, God.
My eyes started twitching.
Yeah, let's not go on to the COVID and quarantine thing, because my opinions don't match up to popular beliefs in that. So, yeah. How's it going, guys?
So
when you're looking at it, that's where I think there's certain areas that it's okay to go with great respect, and yes, I have been on battlefields, and I've been to Stone River, I've been in several different places. As team hunts and so forth, I don't think the events are as... I don't go to the events. Let's say that, because I don't think that the people that are going there are... it's more of an entertainment thing. You've got the celebrities there, you've got all the people that are meeting and everything else, and you've got people that are not what I consider to be a full-time paranormal investigators that have been watching TV and going out and trying to do stuff.
They're weekend warriors.
I will say I love going to cemeteries. And it's not even a paranormal investigation thing.
No, they're peaceful.
It's not even that.
No.
I go to read headstones.
Oh, they are interesting.
They are very interesting.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that just doing the simple act of going and reading someone's headstone,
you're showing them respect for one. You're paying you're paying attention to them.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of family members don't ever go, but maybe once a year.
I usually do not take a pointy stick to a cemetery, Joe.
Joe.
Well,
I take that to like Subway.
Why, to prod them until they're done with your sandwich?
Yes. Faster.
It's like the older cemeteries. I always keep a recorder in my vehicle because I'm always looking for lost Civil War soldiers that may be in an area or whatever. And going to them and just reading their tombstone. And I always say, hello, thank you for your service, anything like that. And then it's funny some of the replies that you get, how are you doing today? And they'll say, hello, sir, how are you? It's just a totally different type of thing. So... But,
there's a certain respect you can also show, and help me out here, Don. I know if you go to a soldier's headstone and you find a penny, if I remember right, it's another soldier honoring a soldier. If you find a nickel, do you remember all this, Don?
I believe a penny.
No,
is just
I haven't even heard
visiting.
of this, to be honest with you.
A penny
really?
is anyone visiting a soldier's can
Okay.
leave a penny.
Yeah, anyone that's visiting the soldier leaves a penny. If you, oh God, what is it?
If you leave a dime, it's in your company. If you leave a quarter,
you actually went to combat with them.
Right? Yeah, you actually served with them.
Something like that. So so if you see change on a headstone, leave it.
Well, let's clarify. You see anything on any headstone, don't freaking touch it.
No.
Yeah, you want to be cursed real quick.
Yeah, that's not for you.
Not just cursed, but if I'm there and I see that, the curse is going to be the last thing you have to worry about.
All right.
Because I am going to... You're going to need your own headstone. I have no patience for that.
No.
I gotta...
But I will ask if you know the person and if you're just taking care first before I start beating the hell out of you. Like, if it's your husband or wife, I'm not going to, just come up and beat you, but we're in... Yeah.
If you're destroying the headphone.
That happens way too often in the last...
Oh, it's amazing in some of these old graveyards that people have been to. You see them, they kick them, they do everything else to break them in half, and it's just terrible.
And you know what's disgusting? It's disgusting enough. What's even more disgusting when it's a paranormal investigator doing it.
Well,
right, exactly.
So a couple of years ago, locally, in my hometown, a young guy named Eric Dahl started going and he started, honestly, with his own father's headstone before Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
He would go and fully clean it. A couple of years ago, he started doing all of them.
Right.
Now, every day before, the first couple weekends before Veterans Day, so pretty much all of October, him and about 30 other people go through and they clean every headstone in the cemetery, not just the military ones. And they clean, they use the proper, they use toothbrushes, they clean them completely so that all the moss is gone, any of the dirt that has gotten towards them. And if they're able to, if there's cracks or anything showing, they have a young guy that comes out and he repairs them.
Cool.
So,
I think it is too. I think that's very cool.
Yeah. All started just because he was taking care of his own father's one.
It's just like the people who are into paranormal and go to historical societies and they find old stones and everything else, and they do etchings to try to take it back to the historical society so they can update their cemetery logs and everything else, because some of it is lost forever once the stone, you get some stones around that are in the 1800s and you can't even read them,
So real quick, I want to clarify. Thank you, Joe. Joe posted on the chat room. So a penny means you visited. A nickel means that you and the deceased soldier trained at boot camp together. If you served with a soldier, you leave a dime. And a quarter actually means you were there when that soldier died. So yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember all the details.
I will say, when I was young, cemeteries used to scare the living hell out of me. But my
you have a reason
cemetery
for that.
is very different than most people's. Our cemetery is a very small family plot that's been around since the 1800s. Mm-hmm. So, and when we bury someone in my family, we go and we dig and we set up the graves and we lower the caskets or ashes or anything like that ourselves, and we refill ourselves as well. And it's way up in the middle of the mountains. So it is really creepy going into this thing because it's not kept exactly. It's more of an old growth
little tiny
area. And yeah, I mean, we have family there. Like I said, since the early 1800s, we have family there. And they used to scare me. They used to scare me a lot when I was little. Not too much anymore. I mean, I don't have a problem with them anymore. But we will go out to our family cemetery. We used to go every year, and we would put out flowers, and we would put out. I would bring jars for my grandmother and different things that she collected. So there was a whole collection of stuff out there, from windmills and different things like that. And one year we went up there and somebody had taken everything out of the cemetery, off of every headstone that was there. And they had just annihilated the whole place and had pushed over headstones, all kinds of stuff. It took us a really long time to get our family plot cleaned back up and back together.
Yeah.
And people don't think about what these people actually meant to other people,
Right.
And you got to think about the fact that might just be another headstone for you, but that's my grandmother for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say her cemetery, though, is scary as hell. Most cemeteries, they grow beautiful evergreens. Friggin' the only thing that grows in that place is the most twisted horror movie trees in the world.
No, it's quite literally like walking into Pet Cemetery off of the like original.
Like I don't know how many of our
King.
listeners saw that tree that I posted on in the group FMP.
Right.
But like their trees look like that.
Yeah.
All of
No,
them.
it's a
They're
terrifying
scary.
place. Yeah.
You know, I think some of the most beautiful cemeteries I've seen were actually in Stuttgart. Stuttgart, Germany. And they're gated.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't walking in unless they open the gate and let you in. They're guarded. Not literally, but I mean, they have a gate. You're not just going to walk in randomly. I did. But you can walk through them. And what was cool, I wish I had pictures of it, but in Kitzingen, in the cemetery, is actually supposed to be Dracul's Dracula, or Vlad the Impaler, his tombstone, and it's literally almost like it's completely fenced in, barred in, and it's got skulls all around it. It's creepy, but it's cool.
That's his summer home.
Pretty much. There's supposed to be actually 3 different cemeteries that they actually dismembered him, and there's supposed to be 3 parts of his body in 3 different cemeteries, or parts of his bodies in 3 different cemeteries.
At least they were nice enough to put him in a cemetery.
Right? Yeah. So it is.
Technically,
yeah, Joe. Vlad. Yeah, you definitely use pointy sticks for Vlad the Impaler. Well, he liked pointy sticks too. He just put people's heads on them.
Technically, it wasn't nice of them to put him in a cemetery. That it was actually
They did.
one of the worst things they could have done for him. I'm just saying, technically, a cemetery is holy ground, and if you go by actual lore, then that's actually a huge disgrace to him to put him in a cemetery.
That's just propaganda. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Friend, he could withstand all that stuff. Like that stuff never made a difference to him. But like giving him a beautiful area with skulls on it, like he probably really likes skulls. He was the Impaler. Come on,
Right. They gave him.
Are you allowed to plant garlic by it? Like
It was
is
inside the cemetery. I'm not.
Why are you worried about him?
There was a very large lock on these doors. He wasn't getting out.
Hi, Tim.
Sure.
Hey,
that's
Tim.
what they say about all
Yes,
of them.
we're still here. We're still awake.
Oh no, they ain't going nowhere. Mm-hmm.
And we got 3 more shows to go, and we are done with our 24-hour challenge. Marathon. I call it a challenge. I told the kids, Daddy's doing a 24-hour paranormal challenge, and they understood that. 24-hour marathon? Huh? Daddy's doing a
Challenges are
challenge.
big on YouTube.
Every
Right?
freaking thing on YouTube
Yeah.
is a challenge.
And that's why I explained it to him. Yeah, this is a 24-hour challenge.
Like,
You know, I
I
gotta be
have
honest.
excited.
I have a new YouTube challenge. Nobody posts dumb shit for a day challenge on YouTube.
Right?
Oh, look
They
at-
already failed.
Hey, Lou. You know, every time I think of marathons, okay, I
think of
honestly...
running.
No, I think of those guys sitting in a call center being like, call us, be the 3rd caller of the night, and you,
Right.
give us $200, and we'll... Yeah, that's what
Right.
I think of.
You heard her. Give us $200.
Just buy an apron. We don't need the 200.
Oh, that brings an excellent question. So Joe also wants to know, is going to be an S4 Paranormal Show Challenge coin. So, do you have a coin for coin check, Don?
A what? I don't think so.
Did you never get a coin?
No, I never got a coin while I was in the military.
Damn.
Even for serving. Yeah.
I'll give you one of mine.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's okay.
I'll mail you one. So, a coin check. Anytime you go to a bar and there's other veterans, and somebody slaps a coin in front of you and says coin check, one, if you don't have a coin, well, you owe that person a drink. But if you do have a coin and your coin does not outrank their coin, I think you still owe them a drink, don't you, Don?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I do have a general coin. My coin was from a 2-star general. So unless they've got a 5-star general coin, it's going to trump theirs.
AA has coins too, but I don't think they can do those games with it because then they have to go back to AA.
But yeah, no, we don't have any S4 Paranormal Show Challenge coins. Joe, maybe we'll have to look into that. And I don't have my Black Horse coins anymore. I used to have Black Horse coins too. That makes me sad. I have some 6.6 Cav coins. I have my General coin. I have my NCO of the Year coin, which was cool.
Nice.
That's kind of fancy. And so that was we're running out of time. It's kind of cool. Oh no, Joe. I'm sorry, and no disrespect intended, but no, that coin doesn't beat. No, hell no. I'll leave it. I'll just leave it alone. Anyway, so my command hated me when we got back from Iraq, because oh my God, the evil pagan.
Wow, you're just making friends all over the place.
No, that was so the colonel was I want to say Catholic. The sergeant major was Christian. Either way, they were both religious. I was just the most evil thing in the world. And I'm getting ready to leave, actually, for the W2B. And my E6 said, look, they are demanding that I send an NCO to the battalion for the NCO of the Year board. So, what a board is every first sergeant, which is the top of a company. They're in charge of the whole company. They're right below the commander. You can be a captain. And you have to walk in with your Class A's, your dress greens. Everything has to be perfect. You walk in, every first sergeant in that battalion is sitting there. You have to do facing movements. You have to tell you that, give them your bio. Every board, every unit is different. Some of them want you to recite the Warrior Creed. They have you sit down. Then they're going to all ask you 3 to 4 questions. And whoever does the best is, it depends if it's like a Soldier of the Month board or if it's a promotion board. If it's a promotion board, everybody wins. It's just a matter of how many points you get. So he's like, look, I know you hate this unit. I know you hate this command, but I need a big favor of you. I'm like, what? He goes, I don't have any options. These other 2 E5s, they're no. I need you to go to the NCO of the Year board. I'm like, oh my God, no, are you serious? They hate me. So I had 24-hour duty. So I told him, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I got my uniform ready and whatnot. And it was like 2 days away. And so I had 24-hour duty anyway. I had plenty of time to study. So I studied every Fort Lewis regulation. That was my saving grace right there, because I knew most of the general information. But there's all kinds of random regulations for Fort Lewis. So I went in, I recited, I did my facing movements, I reported to the, sergeant major, I did my bio, I did the questions, and what killed them. So again, the Sergeant Major hates my ass, but he's like, so Sergeant Cooper, which regulation has to do with females? And he figured, no one's going to know this regulation. He's going to get me. So, which regulation, Fort Lewis regulation, has to do with females and breastfeeding? Like, oh, Sergeant Major, that's Fort Lewis regulation, blah, 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 blah. And it has to do with, and I gave him specific details about that regulation, because one I just got done reading, 2 nights before. He's like, holy fucking shit. You know this shit? Like, yes, Sergeant Major. So, I walk out, and we all walk back in. He goes, Sergeant Cooper, you're the NCO of the year. Right on. He goes, do you know what that means? Negative, Sergeant Major. He goes, that means you're going to represent this battalion at Fort Lewis against every NCO, every unit that sends one NCO. You're representing the battalion for installation level. Like, oh my fucking God, no. Are you serious? No. No, I ain't, no. Hell no. So I've got an NCO of the year coin. I didn't win installation level because that was political. I didn't expect to do that great, and I didn't do that great. The NCO I did expect to win didn't, but it was a minority NCO that won. And the minority NCO, nothing against it. I want to clarify, I'm not against minorities whatsoever. But he didn't do as good as the NCO I expected to win. And same with these. So there were 2 winners. One was the NCO of the year for installation, and they went to, oh God, I believe Fort Huachuca to represent Fort Lewis, and several other installations on the West Coast. But again, the specialist that won again didn't win. In my opinion, didn't do as good as the other E4s. So. Yeah.
All right. Well, and on that note.
Yep.
Eric Cooper, Don Davidson, from the bottom of my heart, thank you both for your service. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much.
Oh, it was fun. I don't tell you that.
Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And with that, we will be back in 7 minutes. We at the top of the hour, we will just refresh your page, and we will be right back with the next show, The Lore of Dragons and Fae. So, Eric, what do we say?
And don't forget, keep your eyes to the skies.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.